Hi everyone, welcome to the Permanent Makeup Podcast. Today I have my friend Alex from um, BrowTab with me. So go ahead and give the audience kind of an introduction on yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm Alex from BrowTab, like Olivia said, and basically where I'm at right now is I have fully shut down my microblading business because I created a digital course that allowed me to do that. And how like my original story is like I am a microblading artist, started as a lash artist, and I had my own business, everything like that, and I found a way to create an online course teaching others how to basically create a successful beauty business, like how to build a clientele, how to run your back end, all of that, because that was something I was like really passionate about. It was like the business side of it. And I felt like that was like a big lacking part in our industry. So I created an online course on that. And once I saw success in that, I was actually able to shut down my business, and we're here. I'm in an Airbnb in Vegas right now. I'm originally from Calgary, Canada, and we're moving to Mexico because I can be making money online with my online courses. So that's just a little quick rundown on who I am and what I do.
First of all, that's amazing, and I might be interested in that course when we're done here. Because I feel like I struggle so much with the back end of stuff because when you start a microblading business, like you're so focused on creating brows that like all of the business part of it totally doesn't get thought about. And I feel like I've made so much mistakes myself, and people could probably relate to that of like finances and like if you have employees or if you have like artists under you and how to do that. And I feel like I'm still figuring it out, and I'm like 6 years in, so you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. And I feel like that's such like a common thing in our industry is that is not taught. Like we're taught how to create these beautiful sets of brows or eyeliner or lips or whatever it is, but the actual business of it, we're really just figuring it out on our own. So I was able to figure that out, and then I was happy to be able to put it together into a course and share it with others too.
That's awesome. How long have you been in the industry for?
So it was probably 9 years when I shut down my studio. I think it was like almost 9 years to like the month exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like you must have been like really ahead of the game because I don't feel like microblading really got popular until like I was like 3 years into it, which would have been like 2021,
Right. Yeah.
2022 ish. Like at least where I'm from, like it didn't really like hit the ground running until then. So you must have been like ahead of the game.
Yeah, so I started originally in the industry just doing lash extensions. So I did that for probably like about a year and a half. And then there was a school in Calgary that launched a microblading course. And it was specifically just microblading. Like it wasn't PMU at that point. And I was like, that just looks so cool. Like I was obsessed with how natural it looked. And so I was like, screw it. Like let's just sign up for this course and see where it takes me. So yes, I was very far ahead in that sense because I feel like especially in North America, like it came to us much later. Um, so that probably did benefit me too, but there was a lot of people who had no idea also like what it was. They were like, "Oh, so you're gonna like tint my eyebrows?" I'm like, "Not exactly."
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Really quickly for the audience. The I've been following you for a really long time, and something that I always thought was cool about you was that like you sold product, and you educated, and you just seem to be extremely knowledgeable. And I haven't really honestly talked to you as much as I've wanted to. I'm not the best at like just talking to people, especially if I don't know them in real life. So I try to like, like everything and like be supportive in that way, but I'm so shy when it comes to like messaging or like reaching out and being like, hey. So I feel like this podcast has really brought me out of that, and I want to get out of that and talk to people that aren't just in my like bubble here. So this really helps me do that. But tell me a little bit about like the products that you sold and stuff too. Do you still continue to sell them?
No, so I did shut that down as well.
Okay.
So just because like with moving, like literally we sold our house, we sold one of our vehicles, we sold all of our furniture. Like we have like a little corner in my parents' basement of like the stuff that's ours. Like if it didn't fit in our Jeep, we didn't take it with us. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard to keep a product line at that point. And the thing is with my product line was when I launched it, I was obsessed with it. And I loved my products. I loved the branding. I still love BrowTab like so much in that sense, but I had gotten away from actually like promoting the products. So I was still making sales of people who had purchased from me previously who knew about the products, but I had shifted so much at that point that I was talking more so about building your clientele, about digital products and all that, that it was just on the back burner. I was just kind of selling out the products that I had. Because it shifted in that sense, and wanting to have a product line was something that was a huge dream of mine basically since I started in the industry. I started with wanting to have a lash line, and then it grew to a microblading line. So I'm like so happy that I was able to like do that. But it's funny how you do something that you wanted so badly and then it brings you to something else that you love even more. So that's kind of how it went with that. But no, I don't. I have a little bit of stock left that I saved as like kind of a memento and whatnot, but no, I'm out of the product game now, at least for now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool that you did it anyway. Even if you don't continue to do it. I mean, I'm glad that you found like your passion. It's important to do what you're passionate about the most. So, what
Absolutely.
what was the moment for you that like made you pivot into like, okay, I'm gonna put all my eggs in this basket of online training, and I'm just going to shut everything down and move. Like, what was like the moment for you?
So there was probably like a couple key moments. So one of the main things, and that was like why I am so grateful for creating that product line, was it was what allowed me to start connecting with other artists. Because as just an artist and like I was still educating in person and whatnot, but like I was more so just dealing with clients. But once I created the products, now I needed to go and speak to artists and tell them about the products, ask them how they were, see like what their needs are and that kind of stuff. And that's where it came up that a lot of people were struggling with actually building the business. Like they knew how to microblade, they knew how to map, they got that all down. They were just like, I don't have enough clients because I don't know what to do. So that's where that started triggering in my head to create a digital product. And that was coming out around like the COVID time too. So there was also the like downtick of people having like being in the studio and actually buying my product too. So it was like that trade-off of like I have these products but people aren't working so they're not buying them, so like how can we shift. So that was probably like the first like shift towards digital products. And then it was like honestly I guess that was last March. My husband and I were in Cabo, and we've always wanted to like live by the beach, to not live in Canada where it's freezing and dark and everything. And we were just like, how do we make this happen like sooner than retirement? Like, how can we do this? And like, I was like, I have an online business. If we go like fucking hardcore on this, like right now, we can do this. And we were originally thinking 3 years, and we ended up doing it in about 18 months. So it was really just a push for like, this is what we want, and we're going to make it happen. So there were like, yeah, those two pivotal moments, I guess, that got me here now.
Well, that's awesome. And this is kind of an off-subject question, but is it like cheaper there to live?
In
Or,
Mexico?
huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I was hoping, because I'm like, here it's extremely expensive, and I'm like, that makes so much sense, and like it just, I mean, all around sounds like an amazing idea to move there. So
Yeah, it's drastically cheaper for like groceries, rent, even like purchasing a property. But it's also just like a lifestyle. Like they live like a more of a chill life. They are not so much like work, 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 work. Like they work and then they really enjoy their lives. It's not like they work and then they just go home and watch Real Housewives or whatever. Not that I don't love reality TV, but it's a different lifestyle. It's a more being outside. It's a more being together, going out, doing things. And maybe that also comes from like living somewhere that's like wintry for so long that I'm like, I would like to be outside as much as possible. But yeah, so cheaper and totally just different pace of life, and just, yeah, being able to like go walk the beach every day. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to get there.
when will you officially be there?
So we're in Vegas for the whole summer. So we leave August 28th and we'll be in Mexico. I think we have like 2 days in Tucson on the drive down. So we'll be in Mexico. I think it's like September 1st. So
That's
like 3 weeks.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about like during your permanent makeup career, who was your biggest inspiration of like, oh, I want to do that and I want to be like her or him?
So my favorite is Taryn Darling for sure, from Girls Inc. From literally my first microblading course. That first course I took, my educator, like it was done through like a school, so it was like pretty controlled of like what the kit was and all of that. But the educator had been doing it before, which is wild because she was even way ahead of me. And she had found Girls Inc. and found LI pigments. So she told us to like not use the pigments that were in the kit once we left the course because they were those like little square China ones that were like super thick. She was like, go order these. It's like the best company. So from basically day one, I ordered from Girls Inc. Was in love with LI. I tried so many different other pigments and always went back. And then just like I purchased some of Taryn's courses, followed her. She's just so knowledgeable, and she's just also like so raw and real. Like she
I was
is
gonna
who
say
she
that.
is. So
She's
yeah,
very real.
100% her. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great person to have as your inspiration. That's for sure.
Yeah.
With that conversation being opened, what is your like holy grail permanent makeup product that isn't your own? Like that is like if you were still in the studio, you had to have for every client.
So like I said, absolutely LI pigments. Like I can not speak good enough about LI pigments. I know that there is a learning curve to them, and I know that I used them from the beginning, so they were like my training ground. And I did also take her color theory course, which is like 9 hours teaching you basically how to use LI pigments. So like I got that like deep knowledge,
Yeah.
but just the way that they heal, the way that they fade, the texture of them, I had permablend pigments. I used them for certain clients who needed like that darker color, like that deeper shade, because LA doesn't quite get you there. Um, but I always was like, I don't want to use this. I want to use my LI. So for sure, that's what it would be.
That's a great answer. I remember I started on permablend and I was like, is it supposed to be coming back green? Like I'm not trying to like bash permablend or anything, but they're definitely very rich colors and you can
Yeah.
definitely go too much on the wrong client with them. So I definitely made my switch to Tina Davies pretty quickly, and then now I'm kind of falling in love with Hanafi, even though
Yes.
those are like super light colors. I still really love them, and they fade pretty, and I don't have to worry about them changing like funky colors, and that's like great because I don't want to have to worry about like eyebrows turning blue and gray and green
Yeah.
and
Well,
pink.
I feel like every pigment line has like a learning curve, right? You need to learn how it works and how it goes into certain skin types, skin tones, all of that. The Hanafi ones, they are an inorganic though, right? Is that
They have like multiples, so they have organic, inorganic, and hybrid. So
okay?
that was like really hard for me, like my brain to grasp for a minute. And I took multiple online courses of like trying to figure out what that meant and like who
Yes.
is the perfect candidate for what or whatever.
Yes.
But I feel like I've got it nailed down now. But I remember I was totally in the beginning using Hanafi. I totally just like bought random ones, not knowing if they were organic or inorganic. I don't care. It was on the main page. I added it to my cart and I bought it. And my clients were coming back with like nothing or um, like too much.
Right.
And I was like, I know that I'm being consistent. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Like I feel like I've got my pressure down. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I realized that they're all different, um, organically.
Yeah.
So I was like, I should probably learn that because I'm probably doing the wrong thing, using the wrong pigments on my clients that need something else or they need more um, something inorganic versus organic or whatever. So
Yeah, and I find like
there.
those those words are so. I feel like they're so wrong too because it has nothing with being organic or inorganic. Like it's not with
Um,
what they're made with or anything, which is so frustrating to like to teach on.
yes.
But yes, yeah, different clients definitely need different types of pigment, and the way that you can play with them and the more you know them better. And I know like Hanafi was coming out as I kind of had already decided I was like shutting down. So I was like, I'm not trying out anything new, but I know some of the girls, some of the artists were going wild for them. So I'm happy that you're loving them too.
Yes. I what I love about them the most is that they really do heal down to the true color that you want them to be, and it doesn't have funky undertones or like if I see them a year later, which I have had clients come back from when I first started. I'm finally seeing them again after a year or two of using them, and like the way that they fade down is like true to color, and it's not like more ashy than it was. It's not like you can tell that like the colors there's not like more like the red isn't like remaining in the
Yeah.
brown or like the green or the yellow or whatever like
Yeah. All of it's fading equally. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
so I really like
Oh,
that.
that's nice.
um so with that being said, if you feel comfortable sharing, was there a permanent makeup product that you've tried that you were like, this is just not it, like I hate this, I will never repurchase?
Hmm.
You don't have to share that if you don't feel like it.
I know I'm not opposed to sharing. I'm just like, that's such a good question. Is
It
there
is
something that I
talks
didn't
about that.
like? I don't know. I I did order some, and I didn't play around with them that much. But I don't know if you ever heard of them or when they came out, the like V microblades that had like it went like this. And I was just like, is this supposed to be like a double duty like blade? Like, what are we doing with this? So maybe that. I'm sure there's like a better one, but that's the one I can think of right now that I was like, this just doesn't make sense. It seems like waste of a half a blade to me.
Totally. I know what you're talking about, and I feel like I don't know why that needed to exist, but I never tried it or anything, but I was so curious like online seeing it.
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day when we all used to watch like makeup tutorials and people would talk about like the products that were worth it and then products that weren't, and people were so loud about the ones that were not good. We don't have anyone like that like in our industry being like, don't buy this, it's terrible. Buy
It's
this,
so
it's great.
true.
Although
Yeah.
I mean it is biased, but
Yeah,
um,
I feel like it's super biased in that sense, and like on your skill level, but also like what you're comfortable with, what you like, also who you want to support. I think that's a big thing in our industry too. Um, but yeah, I think the one thing, and this is maybe like a twist on your question, that always bugged me with the industry is, and maybe because I come at it from such a business mindset, was like artists were always purchasing new stuff and always trying new stuff, and like I know that we have to do that a little bit, but I felt like so much money was being spent just to buy like the newest and greatest, when like if you really just like hunkered down on like the product that you loved and you know how to use, you would actually probably make more money and be like better versed in that product than just like continuously buying something new that kept coming out. And I feel like that I kind of based like creating my BrowTab products around that it was like the core products that you needed and not a whole bunch of like the fancy stuff. So maybe that's my opinion, kind of the
oh,
question
that's
answer.
that's extremely valid. I feel like sometimes too things are like a gimmick or like a fad, and then everyone hops on it, and then everybody like doesn't use it like
Yeah.
6 months later. And I feel like there's a lot of things too that I feel like that are created for permanent makeup artists, and I feel like I'm like it's cool because it's like permanent makeup related, but there's cheaper options if you just use,
Yeah.
and then it's like, why am I buying like I don't want to be too specific,
You can
but
be.
there's just things that I'm like I feel like people are only buying it because it says PMU on it,
Yeah.
but you can buy this at Walmart and it's not for PMU, but it's the same thing and it's twenty
Yeah.
dollars cheaper.
It's kind of like the pink tax, right? Like you're getting it because it's cute or the package is cute. Like
It's
the
pink.
one, yeah, like the one specific thing I remember is like the roll of basically saran wrap to cover to oculate, and I'm like, I think in my whole career I bought 2 rolls of saran wrap. which is
Right,
like
exactly.
$3, like $6 investment over my whole career. And like it's the exact same thing. It's just not this size. I just have to fold it in half. Like things like that where it's like, no, if you were just like you thought outside of the box a little bit, you could save like a lot of money and a lot of like
Yes,
annoyance of having to order it and all that stuff. So
that's so true. And I, uh, I definitely agree. There's stuff like that that I do all the time. There's like these tray cover bags that you can buy on Amazon, and I don't quote me on the price, but I want to say it's like $20 for 100 bags or something. And I go to the dollar store and I get mini trash bags, and they're pink and they smell good, and they are the same size, same thing, and I buy them for $1 for a roll about this big, and it lasts me like months. So I'm like, just like cutting corners like that is so like much smarter as a business person instead of buying all of the like permanent makeup branded things. You know what I mean? But that's kind of how they get you though. They're like, buy it 'cause it's for permanent makeup people, and you're like, oh, okay. But it's like you can cut corners in some ways if you need
yeah.
to.
And it's like also you kind of have to think back to like permanent makeup is like a version of tattooing, right? And tattooing has been around for years and years and years. And these tattoo artists have been doing this amazing work for years without these little like random little tools that were like, oh, we must have this or else we won't have create good brows. And you're like, this tattoo artist has been doing this forever using these same three things and he's good. So like if you
Absolutely.
think about it like that, it's
I feel like it's like the female in us. Like we have to like our like shopaholicness. We have to have like the latest thing, and we always have to have like the cutest pink thing or bedazzled thing, and like the latest product on stuff. And like tattoo artists are like, I have a machine from 20 years ago, a needle, a trash bag, and Vaseline, and that's literally all I need.
and like paper towel, like aggressively wiping, like
I asked my tattoo artist actually. I was like, "Have you ever heard of water wipes before?"
yeah.
And he's like, no. And I'm like, they're so much more comfortable to wipe with. Like, just stop with the paper towels.
Small upgrades. We can bring them up a little bit.
Yeah. And he's like, those are so expensive. And I'm like, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyways. um, so what are some future goals for yourself in the next 5 years? Like, where do you see your new endeavor taking you?
Um. So still being online. Sorry, I have my puppy here. I'm just gonna put her down. There we go. Sorry. um. So being in the online space for sure. I've shifted, like I still have my course teaching how to build a successful beauty business, but I've shifted to teaching others how to create an online course themselves and turn what they know or what they currently do into an online course so that they can also make money online. And maybe like their goal isn't like me to live in Mexico and shut down my studio, but it could be like to take one less client a day or to be able to make money while you're on vacation. It's just another stream of income while you're already using what you're doing. So to kind of grow that in a sense of like the awareness that it's possible and not the only way to make money in our industry is to be sitting down with a client. There are so many more ways beyond that. I do have like 2 programs already in that space teaching that, but I do want to add like a membership program because I've been teaching one of my courses live and I love the live aspect of sitting down and actually being in not the room but the digital room with my students and like chatting with them, answering their questions. So I think a membership would be a really great way to continue doing that, to be able to like get that interaction, especially now that I'm outside of the studio, not seeing clients every day. I want to like have these connections. So I think adding a membership would be a big thing. But yeah, just basically spreading the word, if you want to say the cliche, that it doesn't just have to be one way to make money in the beauty industry. There's so much more that you can do and so much that you can share just based on like your knowledge and your experiences.
That's awesome. What platform do you host your courses on? I feel like I know that. I know I've looked into it. I just don't remember it in my head.
So I currently host on Kajabi. and I love Kajabi. It's amazing. But what I teach my students to use is called Thinkific, which is just another back-end platform. And I used that probably up until about November of last year. And then when I started teaching live, I felt that Kajabi had a better back-end for it. The reason why I say for new students, for new online course creators to use Thinkific is because they have an actually fully free like entry level program, so you can actually host one free online course or one online course and 2 downloads for totally for free. You don't have to pay anything to use their platform. So that's why I say to stick with Thinkific when you're starting out, because like the upside potential is huge, but if you're also not paying a lot, it's even better. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like I keep saying that, but it is. um, so another question I have for you: if you could look back on your permanent makeup career before you closed and everything, is there any like regret or like message you want to send to someone who's still like me, who's still in the industry, to say like, hey, don't be like me and do this, like do this instead, or something like that?
um yes. So I have kind of two things, and the first would be, and I know this one is so easy to say, but it's hard to do, is don't compare yourself, whether it's comparing your work, whether it's comparing your business, whether it's comparing how many clients you have. We're all at like very different points in our journeys, and we all have to start from the beginning and we all have to work our way up, but also along that path, there is different goals. Like some people's fully booked might be 3 clients a week, whereas other people's fully booked, they want 15 clients a week. So your goals are going to look different. So even comparing just simply how many clients you have, or even if it's like looking at your work, just try as hard as you can not to do it. I know like that's so hard with social media and whatnot. But that's, yeah, some advice that I would give. I would also give, I guess I'm like running long winded here, but building off of that would be to actually not follow people in your industry, because you're going to be comparing yourself whether you try to or not. Unless it's you're in a case like you, for example, where you want to be connecting with artists because you want to build this podcast, right? But if your goal is to literally just be like sitting here at the studio with a client and that's what you want, just focus on clients. Don't compare yourself to others, and don't have like that engagement with other artists or creating content for other artists, because then it's confusing to clients.
I understand what you're saying. I feel
Yeah.
like I get very conflicted with content. Like that's why I feel like I have my Marissa page and then I have my studio page, because my studio page is mostly just for like local people and local events and the people that work in my studio, and then there's me and I'm trying to like meet friends from everywhere, and like it's mostly like artists, like tiered to artists and not to clients. So it's really hard when I'm like posting something to be like, do I post this on my local page or like my artist's page? Like who am I gearing this towards? And sometimes it's both. So my page ends up being like a bunch of like collaborated posts from both of
Mm-hmm.
my pages because they're both kind of interchangeable. But I think that's so important. I feel like as much as I try not to, I compare myself to other people, and I feel like I compare success too. And I think we all have seen like or had moments where you're like, I feel like I'm working way harder than them, and my work is better than theirs, but like I don't have the success that they have, and it's frustrating. And um, we don't consider like you said, everybody's different. So I'm like, maybe I'm not as busy because I'm comparing myself to someone who literally lives in California, and this is way more common than someone um, for someone who lives in California than someone who lives in Indiana in a small town full of factory workers, which is where I'm from.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe that's why I'm not like poppin', because my audience is different than theirs, and their goals are different than mine. My location, everything is different, and their clients are different than my clients. So it's so hard not to compare yourself. And I tell people that all the time too when I'm mentoring, is like, don't ever compare follower count or like client count or their schedules to yours. Like, just focus on yourself. But it's so much easier said than done.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's so much easier said than done, and like especially like your follower count, like a lot of times I'll come across a page and like not even necessarily in like the beauty industry, and you're just like, or not a page but like someone's post, and the way that they're posting, you're just like, oh my god, like this is amazing, I love their content. You go to follow them, and in my mind they have like 100,000 followers and they have like 2,000, and they're posting like they have 100,000 followers. So it really like doesn't matter when somebody is just coming across like what they like, coming across your content on Instagram, right? Whereas there's also people who have, let's say, 10,000 or 100,000 followers, and they're not getting the engagement because a lot of their followers aren't actually going to be clients of theirs too, right? So like there's the two aspects of it, and I think that's really important to not get like bogged down on that like vanity metric, I guess.
Totally. Um, Something I always try to keep in the back of my mind is I have a couple of friends in the industry that don't use social media whatsoever, and they're fully booked every day. And I'm like, that word of mouth really does wonders. I feel like I couldn't survive not doing it. Granted, they do lashes, and I feel like it might be a little different than permanent makeup, but for me, I'm like, if I don't post every day, like, my week next week is going to be completely empty. Like, I feel like I rely on it so much. Um, but where was I going with that? I'm not really sure. But no, I get what you're saying. Like, I feel like um, I have a decent amount of followers, I guess you could call that. But then I post something and it gets like 20 likes, and I'm like, what? That's so stupid. Like, why does it, like, my follower count versus engagement? Like, that's such a thing you have to keep in mind. Like, just because someone has 10,000 followers doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's liking their content and that it's reaching them. So, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And even if they're liking it, like if you are a service based business, right? Like if you're in permanent makeup, you're a microblading artist. If somebody is following you just because you kind of become like an influencer and they're liking it, but they live across the country, most likely that's not getting you paid, right? So like
Right.
unless you have monetized your Instagram in a sense that like you're getting paid for posting, that like is not getting you a client in your chair and bringing you money that way. So we have
Right.
to like look at it in that sense of like when we are service based, like obviously it changes if you're going to join the like online course creator industry, you can service anybody in the world. But like if you are needing somebody to be in your city to like actually come to you, it doesn't matter if you have a ton of followers if they're not like your target audience and they're not going to turn into an actual client.
Right, exactly. I feel like that is what I keep in mind when I'm posting on my two pages. And when I'm posting on my Marissa page, like, I want that page to become more of like an education, online education kind of page for permanent makeup. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like cool with random people from Florida and Colorado following me
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
I can still help them. But um, if they're like a local person who's a client of mine, like, I can't sell them a microblading like online course. Like, I could, but like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
Like,
it's so hard to like separate them but also keep them together because they are intertwined. So like that
mhm.
being said, if I went back to when I first launched BrowTab, I would have probably, knowing what I knew now, I would have kept my studio account and made it all one account just because what I was posting about BrowTab was related to my like services, right? So I was setting myself up as an expert because now I have these products and now I'm teaching on this service. Clients are potentially going to want to see me more because I am an expert at that service, right?
Mhm.
So looking back, if you can find a way to intertwine them in that sense, it can push you even further forward. But at the time, I was like, no, no, these are like two totally separate businesses. Keep them separate. Work extra hard creating content for both pages. But yeah, hindsight's always 2020 in that sense. So there's good and bad with both. You kind of have to see how it works for your business and like what your end goals are.
Mhm. For sure. That's a good one to mention. Um, So if someone was considering learning permanent makeup and starting their business now, what are like the tips that you would give them now?
So they were just like starting from scratch right now.
Yes, like let's say that they're like interested but they haven't taken a class yet.
Okay. Well, first step would be to find an education program that is like good. I know that's so hard to say to someone who knows nothing about the industry, but I've had my own stories and I've heard so many other artists have their stories about really poor classes, really poor master classes, like not a lot of actual education and spending a lot of money. And I know it's different basically, like in Canada, it's pretty unregulated. I know some of the states are a little bit more and some are less. But to, yeah, do some serious, solid research, read reviews, even if you can talk to like past students to make sure that you're spending your money on something that's actually going to push you forward. And then once you've made that decision to like actually get started, create that Instagram account and start documenting. And I say documenting as opposed to creating content because it's so much easier to document what you're doing and turn that into content as opposed to like actually create a piece of content. To document like your entire journey, because from day one to wherever you end up, that's what people want to see. They want to see the story behind your business, behind you creating it. So if you can just start from the very beginning and start telling that story and you're showing your whole process, your whole journey, it's just going to set you so much more ahead and you're going to be so much more comfortable posting and sharing too.
Those are great tips for sure. Um, I I'm trying to think. So I had a student one time who took a class in like Miami or something like that, and it was like a room full of 30 people, and it was like a beginner's certification course where she did this like live demo on a screen and like gave you a book and a certification, and she was like, "Good job, you like finished." And she came to me and like when she told me that she never did a demo model or like never even like drew anything on a piece of paper, I was like, what? Like, what? That's insane. So I totally know what you mean by like there's some education out there that's like worth it. And then there's some that aren't, and it totally just depends on what you're looking for. I feel a lot of people take like continued education courses online, thinking that that's like a certification to start doing it instead of like improving your craft that you already have type thing,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like kind of gets a little construed a little bit. Um, and so I feel like educators like us or just like people who train in person have to pick up the pieces sometimes from those experiences, and it stinks because people spend so much money on it, like you said, and then like it ends up being like not helpful whatsoever. So that is very true. Um, so what was your favorite service? Did you just do brows or did you also do lips and liner and all the things?
So I started with lashes and I did lashes basically up until like my last day in the studio, but I had three like OG clients that I had been seeing like from the beginning and I couldn't not see them. Like we basically hung out for an hour every 2 weeks. So it was like I loved it so much, but I had like totally stopped taking new clients like years ago. I literally just bought product for them. But so yeah, I did lashes, I did microblading, and then I was trained to do. I guess it wasn't eyeliner, but it was like the like tight liner,
Mm-hmm.
like the lash enhancement, right? And then I did like powder brows, combo brows, ombre brows, but I specialized in microblading, so I never actually did the liner after I got out of the course. It freaked me out so much. And
Understandable.
I was just like, I'm not going to spend time figuring this out. And I did do like powder brows for a bit, but honestly, I hated shading. Like I could make strokes for hours, but like to shade, like it was mind numbing for me. I hated it. So I would do a combo brow because obviously some clients can't just have straight microblading, but I totally cut powder brows out of my services like basically as early as I kind of figured out that that wasn't for me. So microblading, like, oh yes, that's my favorite service. I love everything about it.
That's awesome. I totally get what you mean by that because I think that students usually will go in it being like, I want to learn everything. And I'm like, it might not be your thing though. Like the eyeliner thing. I have a coworker who works with me, and she's like, I'm telling you right now, I will never learn eyeliner. I hate it. It looks terrifying. I'm too scared. I don't like the way it looks. Like, it's just not my thing. And I'm like, that's great.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it's important to like find what speaks to you and like specialize in that instead of doing like 15 services and being like okay at it and just like I guess doing it and just being like okay doing it. I personally hate doing eyeliner and I do it every day,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's really because I don't have anybody anymore that does eyeliner for me. I used to have a girl that worked under me for like over a year, and she ended up moving back home 3 hours away. So I was really sad about that. But she was like the eyeliner queen. Like she could get like the cleanest eyeliner wings in like under
Wow.
10 minutes with a pencil. Like her mapping was so good
Yeah.
and she's just so good at it and fearless about it, especially as a beginner because I originally trained her and she was just like she would jump in, no fear, and just do it. And like I feel like everybody else I've trained has been like freaking out about it, and and I mean I was like that too when I first started, but you kind of have to just push that fear and just do it, push through it. I mean, and she was just bomb at it, and so I was just like, you know what, you can take all of my eyeliners, and she liked to do it, so yeah. But now that I don't have her anymore, I'm doing all of them again, and I'm good at it. It's just that I'm like I feel like how you feel about powder brows, where it's just like mind numbing, and you're just like it's standard and it's the same pretty much in everybody. It's just a different style, copy paste. Like there's no
Yeah.
artisticness really with it. It's just like doing a line on the lashes or a
Yeah.
wing and shading it in. Um, and there's no like satisfaction really with it. It looks nice, but it's like boring, I guess.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you mean.
But like that's so hard for you too because obviously you have a roster of people who want that service. So for you to be like, I'm not even gonna offer it anymore, like that's cutting into your like bottom line. So we also have to like make those trade offs if you've already created that clientele, but you do still need to show up for them. Because you're in this for business, right? You're to make money too, right?
Right. So and it's not like I hate my life when I'm doing it. Like I would never allow myself to do something that I hated doing. It was just
Yeah,
like not my favorite.
yeah,
I'll still do it, and I still am thankful for the appointments that I do get. I think it's like a third of my income at this point, so I'm not just gonna like hang it up. But when I'm doing it, I'm just like not like in the I'm not super excited about it,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Um,
I get that.
but maybe that'll change one day. I don't know. But I when
Yeah,
I
or
get
like
so excited. I'm
yeah,
so
or like once you build up the service that you do love more, and you have so much more demand for that, then you can start like weaning that off and not offering it, or if you get a new like artist in your studio to take it over for you again.
yeah. It's probably something I'll end up considering for sure. Just because I love doing eyebrows so much that that's all I want to do, and sometimes like I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm grateful for my eyeliner clients and the appointments I do get because it helps pay me at the end of the day, you know, and
Absolutely.
it's part of my job. So,
Yeah.
but I would love to just focus on eyebrows. I think that is my true passion, for sure. And but I don't regret ever learning like eyeliner like originally.
Oh
I think
no.
that I think it was really beneficial for me.
I don't think you should ever regret really learning anything because I think you can, even if like you don't do that service, you could probably pull some piece from that training that you can use in something else, right? Like you
Totally.
can always learn something. Like you should never regret being like, oh, I spent money learning this and I'm not doing it. You probably still learned something that you are using.
Yeah, and with you saying that, it's actually kind of crazy because I use my dental assistant knowledge like on a daily basis for
Oh, I'm
earning income.
sure.
And I don't do dental assisting anymore, obviously. But sometimes I think like, oh, I wish I would have like found permanent makeup sooner so that I never went to school for dental and then never worked in dental, and I could have just been doing this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much that I gained from having that job. Like, I didn't used to be able to talk to people like that I didn't know at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm 27 now, but I'm talking when I was like 18, 19. And that's when I started working in dental. And I mean, I had to talk to like 60 patients a day. And it really pushed me to like talk to strangers and also learn about infection control and um, appointment flow, like stuff like that, and like communicating with clients, like patients or clients, whatever. And I use so much of that knowledge now that I don't realize. And so I try not to say that I regret it because it really did like form me as an artist and a business owner. So,
No, and like that's so good, and I feel the same way because like I'm 36 now, and sometimes I like look back and I'm like, if I had gotten started sooner, like I would be further ahead. But like I went to university, I worked in the bar industry for like 10 years, and I have friends and I know people who worked in the bar nightclub industry and they like regret that part of their life. And I'm like, no, like I loved that part of my life. It brought me all my friends there. That's how I met my husband. But like, also what I learned from that, like working in a bar was like running a small business every night. What I learned about hospitality and customer service and all that, I did bring into my business. So like you can never like if you regret something in your life, and I feel like we're getting deep now, but like if you regret something in your life, it formed you to get you where you are now. So if you're like doing well now, something that happened got you here. So you have to like kind of be appreciative of it. Like obviously shit happens and there's things that we don't love, but like be appreciative of your past and what you went through because it helped you like be here now.
that is so true. So before you became a lash artist, was that what you did before? You were like working in restaurants and bars and things?
Yeah, so I started as a hostess when I was like 16, and then when I turned 18, which is the drinking age in Calgary, I started working at a nightclub, and I worked at a nightclub for about 10 years, and I also went to university, so I have an economics degree that I've never used. Um, but yeah, so I graduated from university and I didn't want an office job. Like my parents made me go to school and thankfully they paid for it. So I went to university, I graduated, I didn't want an office job, so I just kept working in the bar. And one day I was like, hey, like I don't want to bartend for the rest of my life. Like let's apply for some jobs, let's do what I should be doing. And then funny enough, instead of making my resume, I signed up for my first lash course and then I never looked back.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that
so I
story.
stayed in the bar like a little bit after that, obviously, because like I didn't have a clientele starting out. So it was probably like 2 or 3 years that I still bartended on the side. But yeah, once I built up a clientele, I've been full time beauty.
Yeah. And I feel like that definitely probably helped you like gain clients just because your personality, like you're very bubbly and you speak very well, and
Thank
that
you.
probably helped you gain clients and like trust with clients, and because you have like that personability kind of thing, which you probably did get from your serving job, and so that's really cool how that like goes together.
Yeah, it's all related, and I think yeah, you really do learn from like every stage of your life, and if you can actually learn from it and use that, then I think it's all good.
For sure. Did you know? Did you ever have a different idea for yourself, like before you got into the beauty industry? Like, did you have a goal of like, I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to be? You like had like a clear vision of what you wanted to do before you realized it was this.
Um, Yes and no. Okay, so this is like kind of a silly story. So when I used to work in the bar, they used to make us do these bikini contests. So you would have to like walk the stage, and you were just a filler because they didn't get like enough girls because you were staff. You had to do it. So you had to fill out this like sheet of paper, and it was like your answers, and you could be stupid with them or you could be real with them. And they were reading them out while you walked across the stage. And my answer was like, it was always like, what do you want to do with your life? And my answer was always, I want to be a CEO and own my own jet. And I was like kind of joking about it, but like kind of real about it. So like, no, I guess this is kind of what I always wanted. I wanted to like be in charge and run my own business, and just I didn't know how I was going to do it at the time.
Mhm. Well, that's awesome that you already have that like in the back of your mind that you wanted to be a boss, like someone who ran your own stuff and you wanted to be successful. And yeah, I think that that's a great thing that you knew who you were from day one. So and what you
Yeah,
wanted.
so it all kind of lined up. It took a while. We did some curves getting there.
Yes, which is totally necessary though. Like we said, I remember like thinking back to my high school years and being like, could I have predicted that I would be in the position that I'm in now? And it's totally a no, because like I said, I couldn't do any kind of form of public speaking. I couldn't talk to strangers. I always thought that like a desk job behind a computer would be where I would thrive, where I didn't have to talk to anybody besides like through email. And I thought I wanted to be a journalist, and so I was going to go to school to do that. Actually, before I did the whole dental assisting thing, my dad married a dentist, and she pushed me into it. Uh, but I was like fully committed to this whole journalism idea, thinking that I could hide behind a computer and just type. Because I do enjoy writing, so I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to like be someone like an editor on the paper or like an author or something like that, uh, because I didn't have to talk to anybody. Truly. So I really thought I wouldn't have a career where I had to talk to people because it just wasn't something I ever thought I would do. And well, now I am. There's like now this trend on TikTok that's like I wanted a career where I didn't have to talk to the general public, and now I'm a makeup artist or something like that. And it's so true because I'm like I didn't think this would be my job, but I obviously enjoy it, and it's really helped me grow as a person because obviously not talking to people isn't good for you mentally.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of my clients have become my friends, and I've really found myself in this career and came out of my shell and all of that. But um, I always knew that I wanted to be rich and famous. When I was little, I was like, I'm gonna be Britney Spears.
I
But then
love
the whole
it.
not talking to people thing came in, and I was like, no, never mind. Um, but yeah, so I guess that was my last question for you. Do you have any questions for me before we stop?
No, I think that was amazing. I had so much fun. I feel like we
I'm
had
so
like some
glad.
good stories and good topics.
Yes, I feel like I'm always watching your reels of you talking, but it's like not to me. But now it is, so it's kind of weird because like I watch your stuff and like we've never really had like a conversation, but now talking to you, it's been really awesome. And
Well, thank you. Little side note on that, if you want a little bit of details, actually, like there is like a study that's done if you do talking reels that people um, like relate it to having a conversation, so they're more comfortable around you when they meet you in person or later in life, or they actually feel like they know you because that camera, like talking to the camera, gives that feeling to them. So it's like a legitimate thing.
that actually makes me makes I feel like I'm confirming that because usually I'm a lot more nervous when I'm doing these, and I don't talk at all usually. And for some reason with you, I feel like I can because like I'm used to your voice and I'm used to just
Oh no. And then I lost you. Are you still there?